Tuesday on this programme is Tech Day. Our tech specialist is usually either Emma Robinson, or I'm delighted today to be joined, as we often are, by Professor Kevin Curran. Kevin, good afternoon to yourself.
Good afternoon, Mark.
Listen, I want to talk about WhatsApp. There's all sorts of privacy concerns. The government are stepping in here. I see, Kevin. I mean, an awful lot of people use WhatsApp, and an awful lot of people have confidence in it because it's so-called end-to-end encrypted. Well, is it or is it not?
Oh, it is. But unfortunately, there's an online safety bill being ushered in by the UK government, and ultimately is to protect children that are using social media platforms by removing illegal content and preventing children from accessing harmful material. But one of the aspects of it is to be able to scan. They want to be able to scan for CSAM images, we call child sexual exploitation images, really, which they have fingerprints of and they know what they are. But in order to do that, and also other content, in other words, if they're putting an onus on the WhatsApps of this world and the Metas, the Facebooks again, to monitor everything on a platform, again, then they have to break what we call this end-to-end encryption, really, which protects us all for, that our conversations are private. Even WhatsApp cannot read our messages. Facebook cannot read our messages when it's end-to-end encrypted. But if that's removed, then that, in other words, just to catch that percentage of online pedophiles, again, which we all want to capture, but ultimately the public is less secure. And we'd be one of the only countries in the world that don't have end-to-end encryption.
But is it different, Kevin? Our tweets are public, but if I WhatsApp you, that's between you and me. I suppose legislators have to see the distance in between the complexities of that. Policing private worlds, I suppose.
Exactly, I know. Direct messages are that they're end-to-end encrypted again. Like the providers cannot see that, so it gives us all a sense of privacy in a increasingly unprivate world, really. Again, so it's the thing again. There's so many analogies I could give you, but say we knew there was a criminal in a cafe and it's full of people, and there's 12 people in there, and it's so important that we capture him. But, we tried before and they've got ways to get out of the building, right? But what we can do, we can just fire a hail of bullets, kill the 12 people. We've got the guy we want, but we've killed 11 innocent bystanders as well. And in some ways, that's what this bill would do if we remove end-to-end encryption. There's not a security expert or anyone in computing who disagrees with this. The other things we debate, is Windows better than Mac or iPhone? These things are, but something like this, anyone who knows anything about privacy and communications, again, none of us agree with this. That, in other words, the bad guys, they will be the ones using end-to-end encryption, while the rest of us don't have recourse to it again. And we're vulnerable then to state hackers, to Western, Eastern Europe and all this. So we become weaker as a society.
And there's concern. I see one of the people speaking in the House of Lords this week says that these services like WhatsApp will potentially leave the UK. Will they, Kevin? I mean, that's their money pot.
They will, yeah. No, 98% of WhatsApp's users are outside the UK. Look, they can't have an unencrypted. The engineers wouldn't even develop it. They'd be like asking them, I don't know, to do something against their ethics again. They would know WhatsApp will move out of the UK. And again, we become, a third party, kind of a third world country in that respects again. So.
The Home Office says we support strong encryption, but this cannot come at the cost of public safety. Tech companies have a moral duty to ensure they're not blinding themselves and law enforcement to the unprecedented levels of child sexual abuse on their platforms. That feels like a vote winner, Kevin. You know what I mean, in terms of, well, who doesn't want their kids protected?
Exactly, but when it comes down to it, look at there's not a technological solution for all of this. Technology cannot defeat. Most abuse comes from family, within circles, whatever else, and we want online platforms to be as safe as possible. Of course, we want to continue with the monitoring of images. We want people, again, not to be see, our children not to see offensive material again, but to do something like this where, again, you got non-technical people. The best example I give, again, the cookie warnings that you get that do nothing for security but annoy the rest of us. We lose out on time clicking on these things again. The cookie warning was an idiotic thing from people who are non-technical. The GDPR, the later laws we've had from Europe again are quite sensible, but the cookie law was just nonsense again. That doesn't provide any security for anyone.
I get those all the time. Do you accept the cookies? And every time I would never accept them on my personal phone, but sometimes to do what I need for work, it's like, do you accept the cookies here? And you don't know what you're clicking on. It's like,
Yeah, because 99%. What they should have done was what they did in GDPR, put the onus back on the providers and fine them all the time rather than, showing up this stupid thing that everyone clicks through and it doesn't provide any added security whatsoever.
Okay, right, back to Mr. Musk. I don't know, Kevin. I think you're a fan, generally speaking, but I think, he's made Twitter, I don't know, more complicated, sort of more directed space. But look, he wants to delete old accounts. Why? And why might that be a problem?
Yeah, in some ways you got to give it to him because most social media giants, they go by view counts to get their, advertising to get whatever else. And, they just don't care about the buzz, but he actually does in this respect. And of course, it looked like there's a lot less Twitter users, of course, because so many accounts are actually machine generated by bots again, for advertising and for spam and other things. So he's trying to remove them now. That would also recirculate some of these accounts which have good usernames again. People go crazy for 3-letter acronyms on Twitter again. So it would free up accounts again. But the problem with that is if
Say that again,
accounts,
Kevin. People go crazy for what?
Oh, 3-letter acronyms like means you've got a really short Twitter handle. Like the founder of Twitter has got @Jack, and there can only be one @Jack.
Yeah.
So the other ones are @Jack 1 2 3 4 5 whatever else. So it's prestigious to have a short Twitter handle.
Yeah.
But again, so he's trying to remove these accounts. The only thing is, someone's account could have been around for years, and it's the ones which haven't posted within a few years, and that's fair enough. If you don't post on a Twitter account, maybe and if you don't have any activity, that means it probably is dormant or a bot. But the problem is, someone could grab someone's handle and then impersonate them. Because these handles, these Twitter usernames, go back into circulation and can be created, can be just grabbed by someone else.
Well, there you go.
And then there's also the thing again, because Facebook's had the memorial pages. When someone dies, you can knock down there. But Twitter doesn't have that. So again, some people are worried that their loved ones' tweets will disappear because once the account's deleted, all the tweets are also deleted as well.
Well, maybe the person who's passed didn't give the password, and maybe the family can't access the account or do anything with the account.
Oh yeah, we're heading into a nightmare for the future, where especially with Apple devices, will be they go into landfill. If you don't have the user account or the credentials for someone's Apple devices, no one's going to get back for you. They're literally are bricks.
I'm just checking your Twitter account. You got your blue tick?
I did. I did get it, yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about you'd paid for it this time. Was it a fortnight ago, Kevin, or a week ago? But there was no blue tick. So anyway, do you feel better now? Do you feel better now? Slightly important that you've got your blue tick.
It makes no difference. No, it did take a good few days, and I literally doubted myself, and I'd signed up, but it did. It was £100 for whatever.
100 quid for a year.
Yeah.
Do you think that's money well spent,
Well, for me, it's it's what I do. I do a lot of media, and I can promote any interviews I do and whatever else. And I do find Twitter is the social media one I would go to the most for news, especially about Ukraine and everything else in COVID. I like the fact that I get completely opposing views on the right and the left, liberals, conservatives. And delivery is, I do find it very useful for getting my information. Okay,
talk about location sharing. This is one that I try to switch off at every opportunity, apart from when you're trying to get from A to B. Where you can, I've just about worked out, Kevin, that Google Maps, you can walk actually on it or actually look at roads and sort of spot yourself and all the rest. Anyway, but what about location sharing? And what's the story?
Yeah, Snapchat is a very popular social media tool among teenagers, especially about 300 million daily users. But one of the features they have is a Snap Map, so you're able to see your friends who you share your location with.
Yeah,
where they're all at. So you're able to see actually if 10 of your friends are hanging around in one location, they're at a party or they're at whatever else it is. And some teens, of course, feel left out because they can see where others are at and their peers from school or whatever else, and then they're not there. So that they just feel. And
so the gang is over there, and they're all in the park. They're all at Mickey's house, and I wasn't invited, kind of thing.
It is, and it's
but that's
difficult
life,
for young
isn't
people.
it? So yeah.
Yeah, but the narcissism of adolescence is, you want to feel important at that stage in life, and all the little things that maybe adults, we would ignore, that they become amplified to young people again, that they don't have the skills that we have to see that a lot of things are fake. So again, it's kind of adding to anxiety among teenagers as well. And of course, COVID didn't do them any favors whatsoever. So again, that we are seeing a mental health kind of deterioration among young people.
Yeah, 45% of a survey in Common Sense Media 45% of the surveyed girls said location sharing had a negative effect on them. You know, as you say, Kevin, feeling isolated or not part of the conversation, etc.
There is that, yeah, and there's also a little bit of a worry about stalking because then anyone who's on the Snapchat again could follow girls again. So they're just got to be careful about their location sharing.
Okay. Kevin, finally, real videos and deep fake videos. And the courts. We're back with Mr. Musk here in 2016. He went on a tech conference outside LA, made the statement about the self-driving capability of Teslas. A Model S, etc., can at this point drive automatically, autonomously, with greater safety than a person. But anyway, listen, this whole thing, Kevin, it doesn't affect my life, or does it? You know, unless I have these things explained properly to me, I kind of think it's otherworldly. You know, it's the world of Musk and the people like yourself. So. Why did deep fakes and versus real videos matter? Apart from obviously, you know, somebody pretending to be, you know, a world leader and pressing the nuclear button. No, it was a deep fake, and we've all sort of gone underground with fear. But what are the courts doing here?
But you're correct. That's one of our greatest fears, that a video will go viral and it's completely incorrect, where Joe Biden is declaring whatever else. And so it's become so easy now with these generative AI tools again to create fake videos, and you really cannot see the difference. Listen, 1 month ago, MBN, an Asian newscaster, major national news organization, just like the BBC here, they actually recreated. They created a fake video of one of their newscasters and had to say, look, at this newscaster is still working for us, but it automated in real time the newscaster reading the news, and it wasn't them, it was all done by computer. So again, we don't know what we're going to watch in the future. It's become so incredible. So Musk was up for getting sued because he's the autonomous driving car Tesla company, and again that the widow of someone who died when the car crashed, used the video as saying, look, here is Elon Musk over-promising on autonomous driving. But the lawyers for Tesla came back and said, look, there's a lot of fake videos, and they give so many examples of Elon Musk. How do we know this is not a real, this is not a fake video? Again, so ultimately, again, so that could, because we've had experts for so many things over the years, like analyzing the handwriting signatures and whatever else, and none of us in the exact science. And we've had terrible examples again that led to convictions, like the baby shaking expert who came in, and he was completely off by an order of magnitude. Saying that that there's no way this baby died accidentally. So again, sometimes you get terrible expertise again, but over time as society we kind of figure out what works. We know DNA works, we know fingerprinting works, we know iris recognition, but there's other things we don't know for sure. So again, this could vary other people again, because if you don't have the resources to fly back and say, actually, this is a real video, and hire technical experts and everything else, this can favor the rich and powerful again, to always say.
It also potentially works for traditional media, Kevin. If I go home tonight and put on Channel 4 News and Krishnan Murthy's there, I know that's him, I know that's Channel 4 News, I know it's well done, proper journalism, BBC, ITV, Channel 5, I suppose. You know at least with traditional, if you like, linear real-time media, that it is the real deal. I think a lot of this works for the traditional broadcasters. Not that we're not under huge pressure in the digital world, we know that, but there's something to be said for, look, if I switch on Newsnight tonight and Kirsty's there, I know that's the real deal. You know what I mean?
That's right, because you go to a TV which young people do not buy anymore and do not have. So and you press 104 for Channel 4. But the Channel 4 video that most people will see will be on Twitter or on Facebook or whatever else. And then what if that's, saying that, Ulster Bank are running out of money. I encourage you all to withdraw your funds again. So we see what happened in America with the bank runs again. So that can cause financial, disasters in our country, and not to mention the other things we talk about. And we're heading into, a major era in our geopolitics again. So again, it's become so easy to create full fake video, fake audio with just a few seconds of sampling. Again, so that we can't trust our eyes, like I said, as much as before.
Do you not think that we've all got a check in the back of our minds these days, though, Kevin? Finally, anything I see on social media now, even if it looks to be, I always have in the back of my head, I have every reason to doubt this. I mean everything. apart from the accounts that I know, trust, and absolutely, they're absolutely legit. But if I see a video doing something mad, I'm going, right, and there's a lot of them that are obviously fake. But I think a lot of us are building in sort of automatic cynicism to pretty much everything we see, that we don't know where the source of it comes from. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's possible there, but the CEO there lately, a company where the secretary in charge of accounts was rang up by her boss, and he asked her to transfer the money to a different account, and she just came off the phone thinking, okay, that's a little unusual, but that was John I was speaking to and everything else. And it turns out it wasn't. The criminals had sampled his voice.
And this is you. This is you, by the way, isn't it? This is you I'm talking to now. How would I know? Maybe not, Kevin. Maybe you'll get it. You'll be the guy that does the bot media, and you'll work out a thing that sounds like you, talks with the authority that you speak with, and all the rest. I suppose that's.
It does indeed, because ChatGPT.
How do we know it?
ChatGPT.
How do we know it is you?
Well, you wouldn't in a year, because ChatGPT is doing that. It can interactively reply in real time. I also could train it on all my previous videos. It would know my quirks. It would know where, so it would easily in a year. I know that in months, even if we time, we can do that. It can actually reply to your questions, because again, especially if I put a training on my previous interviews.
I'd love to try that when you get the sort of bot, Kevin Curran. I'd love you to come on with the bot, or actually you interview the bot. Wouldn't that be good?
Yeah.
Maybe not. All right, Kevin, listen, thanks, man. I appreciate your time today, as always. Professor from the Ulster University, Professor Kevin Curran, on just that whole world. I don't understand much, but we are grateful, as always, to Emma and Kevin and Catherine occasionally as well, to sort of help us understand the sort of deep fakery that is out there. There's absolutely no doubt about it.